should we put it as guest speaker or,
However you wanna
yeah,
phrase it.
Well, since you're not a formal committee, you can just invite him up to sit or whatever, I don't know.
yeah. You wanna come up?
Sure, doesn't matter where.
Sure. Uh-oh. Wanna get some water too while we have some time to
Yeah.
Oh, that is kind of hot.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to apologize. You you have no control over this.
Yeah, I was in my office, I came out here, I'm like, whoa, it's hot out here.
Yeah.
Alright, you are live, so whenever you wanna.
Good evening. Good evening. We're going to officially call the Commander Committee meeting to order at 6:11 p.m. The meeting will be held at 3631 Perkins Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 114. I'm present. My name is Adriana Rodriguez.
Sorry. Present.
John Adams.
John Adams.
Mr. John Adams. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Johnny Ham, Captain of the Cleveland Division of Police and proud resident of the city of Cleveland.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Lou, a community member, glad to join the meeting today.
So this meeting will be a little flexible due to a variety of just issues that we want to ensure to streamline the process, as well as just working through the process and fine tuning it. The next item of business is just to review our action items. And the main goal of this is to really receive an update and to ensure transparency of our progress, really with requesting documents. I know there was two things that was brought to the forefront. One was a clearer understanding of discipline, to see if the actual file that was brought up in the full commission meeting, as well as just a general notice. So I'm not sure if you would like to speak more on that, on what you requested, and just the general status of that, Jason.
The only update I have is we're waiting for use of force records from the majority of the candidates. So we received a couple of use of force records files today, which were downloaded and are put on our shared drive. However, it was not the complete list of candidates' use of force records, and they did not comment whether it's because there are no use of force records for the remaining candidates, or if that's all they have at this time to provide, because they're working to the other. We did ask for rolling document production, so we may get more coming in, but right now there's only a handful of candidates who's we've received responsive records. We do have the quote-unquote discipline files for the candidates as well. We've had those. That request came very soon after we made it, and it went to the co-chairs directly, the responsive records for that, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to clarify, because I know in the commission meeting, they asked about ensuring that we had the proper files. It was like a summary versus a full file, so I just want to ensure, from your understanding, we received the proper documents. Okay, and the only thing we're waiting
Well,
on.
we're missing, we still are missing the use of force.
But yeah, okay. So the next item on the agenda is, I guess, our speaker, community speaker.
Sure.
So what you
Okay, is there anything in particular you want me to?
So basically,
topic of?
there was an email that was sent and, there were a variety of different points. So I would love, I guess, to start with, you said officer involvement, officer voice. So, that's very broad. So what does that look like to you? How can this be incorporated? So for example, some things that we might want to consider, there's a variety of candidates in that apply, right? So how do we ensure that there's no conflict of interest? For example, I want to nominate candidate A, candidate Adams, right? And I want to get on the committee, or I'm unsure of how you see that. So I just wanted more information. Is it a Google Doc? Is it having someone on the evaluation committee? Is it, a letter of recommendation? I guess it's very broad, so I allow that. Go to
Okay,
you.
that part of the email was in relation to something that Executive Director could have brought up at the last meeting, which was the 360-degree evaluations, which is something that I think is a very good idea. I like that. I don't know how everybody feels about that in the Division of Police. I can't speak to that or any official decision on that. However, I think it's very important to hear from those that you supervise all the way down in a comforting way that they can actually let you know if you're failing somewhere. Because a lot of the times a supervisor can be blind to something and doing something that they might necessarily not come across in the best way, and there could be better ways that they could express it or get that information across. That's usually a personal conflict of interest. You have at this table sometimes. Where it's just almost a personality clash as opposed to a difference of opinion. So sometimes it would be nice to have the ability for officers that are frontline, baseline, to be able to express that to supervisors, to maybe give them, if you hear from 10 of your patrol officers that you can be a little bit harsh, you might tone it down a little bit over time. And it might be a way to, create better supervisors going forward. So that was what I was thinking of. And you had mentioned later on in the meeting that you wanted to make sure that you had commission involvement. You also wanted the community involvement. And I thought the glaring thing missing was the officer involvement. And, like if you're looking for a commander of the 4th District, you may want to ask officers in the 4th District. Now, how you would go about that, I don't know. And you brought up some logistical issues that would need to be worked through.
Right.
But I think having officers being able to have some input, because they always feel like the baseline frontline officers aren't involved. Sometimes they think that those that are selected for reasons that are outside the best interest of the division or the city, that there's other potentially nefarious things going on behind the scenes. Whether there are or not, every organization feels that way.
Right.
They always think something is going on. So maybe if they had a little bit more buy-in and had a little bit of input that they could put in, that they would be more accepting of whoever it is that they get as their ultimate supervisor or commander in this position.
Okay. Yeah, because, so I guess it would be a few options. One, to have, if possible, an officer to be an evaluator. 2, a Google Doc or something, or like a letter of recommendation. But I think there's a few things that, especially since it's a new process, that I'm not sure if somebody says, okay, I want candidate A over candidate B, will there be any kind of backlash
I
or
think it would have to be
negative?
anonymous.
So
they couldn't be like officially involved.
and there's things with that too. So I'm not sure if that will be answered today, but that's been said about getting officer involvement. It's just how to do it in a way that is fair and partial to all parties. Because especially if you say, I don't want candidate A because he did A, B, and C, we have to kind of ensure that it's true, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and that it's, so not saying that it's not, but you want to ensure that it's fair and that it's impartial in a way too. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I would say in the past, even we had lots of officers, they get promoted periodically due to maybe retirement, vacancy, all kind of reasons, but the process has never been transparent
Mhm.
internally and externally. This is the reason why the regular officers, doesn't matter they patrol or they do whatever, they always feel that they're outsiders. They don't know who will become their supervisor on whatever level that position. However, I do know that when you have a promotion or a job vacant, it's not only if let's say the vacancy is on District 2, the people applying may not be all from District 2. So I think there should be a process, not just using the district as your field. You should actually have this one scaled up to for all officers, because you may have District 5, some higher ranked officers who want